In this particular video, I'm going to be talking about the stocking density in relation to profitability in fish farming. A lot of farmers have complained that they have been able to stock a particular number of fish and that the money they make out of these fish after sales is nothing compared to the money that invested in the feeding and taking care of the fish, which we call input in fish farming. Input means all the money and all the expenses you have made to make sure that a fish grows out or reaches a particular size. Now, this particular stocking density has been neglected in fish culture and aquaculture over time, and that have contributed to the low profit that fish farmers make. Hello, welcome to Selection Fish Hub, where you get everything fish farming and aquaculture. Have I told you that aquaculture and fish farming means the same thing? Yes, fish farming is the rearing of fish in a confined environment. Confined environment is any container or any holding system that can hold water and fish can live and survive and grow well in that particular container. What are the types of rearing containers we use in fish farming? The rearing containers we use in fish farming are namely the earthen pond, which is a dugout earth filled with water. It can be used for fish rearing or fish culture. Another type of facility we use to rear or culture fish is a plastic tank. Plastic tanks are built in different shapes and sizes, and it can also be used to rear fish, and it can also be used to practice aquaculture. Another type of holding container or rearing facility we use to rear fish is the cage. The cage is a net facility that is being sunk inside the river or a water body, and fish are being stocked and reared in that particular net. We call it hapas also. We also have a rearing facility called tarpaulin. The tarpaulin fish pond, just like you see at the background of this particular video, is a type of rearing facility that we also use to culture fish, and is a modern technology that is being employed to use for rearing because of its numerous advantages, ranging from durability to easy movement. This particular rearing facility is collapsible. You can just see how little the volume of this particular rearing facility is, just very little. But once this particular tarpaulin is being installed, it covers a wider space. In this particular video, I'm going to be talking about the stocking density in relation to profitability in fish farming. A lot of farmers have complained that they have been able to stock a particular number of fish and that the money they make out of these fish after sales is nothing compared to the money that invested in the feeding and taking care of the fish, which we call input in fish farming. Input means all the money and all the expenses you have made to make sure that a fish grows out or reaches a particular size. Now, this particular stocking density have been neglected in fish culture and aquaculture over time, and that have contributed to the low profit that fish farmers make. So, like I said earlier in my last video, I'm going to be taking you on a journey called Fish Farm Adventure. This Fish Farm Adventure is a series that we are going to take you on in these months that is going to come by, because we are going to show you everything you need to know about starting a fish farm from scratch, just the way we are going to start this particular facility by setting up a tarpaulin tank of 5 feet by 10 feet size, 4 feet height of course, and we are also going to have the 5 feet by 5 feet 4 feet height of course, which we are going to be used to start this particular farm setting. Like I said, you mustn't have a big amount of money to go into fish farming. You just check the resources you have around you and make the most out of it. So stay tuned and remember to subscribe, turn on your notification button. We want to know what your thoughts are in the comment section, and also share. We are done setting up the tarpaulin fish pond. As you can see, the tarpaulin fish pond is made of the tarpaulin itself and with a galvanized framework. Now, I want you to take notice of the height of the pond. I want to talk about the difference in the height of each pond that we use for our aquaculture activity. The height of the pond differentiates a pond that is used for hatching and a pond that is used for nursery grow out and a pond that is used for grow out production. Now, the height of a pond determines whether a pond is fit to be used for catfish or tilapia or any other fish grow out. Now, a lot of farmers have made the mistake of using ponds that are not up to the standard height for production, grow out production in catfish. They end up stocking fish in some of those tanks, and the fish in turn will eat the feed they give the fish and they will not grow. Now, some of those farmers will try to factor in the cost of feeding to the cost of production, and at the end, they make nothing out of the venture. It is important for every fish farmer to get a pond or a fish culture container that is up to the height, the optimal height for grow out production. However, you need to know the number of fish that comes in every intensification. For example, the semi-intensive system needs a stocking density of 50 to 100 fish per cubic meter. Now, what is a cubic meter? A cubic meter is the measurement of the volume, the total surface area of your pond. Taking this 5 by 5 feet pond, 4 feet high, for example, it have 3 dimensions. You have the length, you have the width, and you have the height. So for us to get the cubic meter and have the volume of this pond, we need to times the length, the width, and the height. And since this pond is measured in feet, to convert your feet to meter is just a very simple mathematics. You just have to divide the feet by 3.3. When you divide any feet by 3.3, you get the dimensions of the pond in meters. So when you convert this particular pond size to meter and you multiply the length, breadth, and height, you get your cubic meter. But it's important to know that even with a 4 feet pond height, you are not filling your water to the brim. You are stopping at a level of 3.5 feet. I'm going to show you how you are going to calculate the stocking density of 5 by 5 feet pond, 5 by 10 feet pond, 10 by 10 feet pond, and 10 by 15 feet pond. With that particular yardstick, you can calculate every other stocking density. If you like this particular tarpaulin pond, you click on the link in the description. We are going to be dropping our WhatsApp link because we have different sizes of tarpaulin pond. If you want it delivered to you, we fabricate and we deliver to you directly, and we make sure we give you the standard height that is needed for grow out production. Remember, tarpaulin fish pond is one of the cheapest culture container you can use to farm your fish. There are many other culture container that you can use to culture your fish, but why we recommend tarpaulin fish pond is because of its numerous advantages. One, it comes in various color. Okay, it can be installed and uninstalled. Okay, it's well suited for residential area as well as normal farm site. Okay, at any point that you need to do any transfer or movement, especially for rented space, you can use it. For example, this facility is a rented facility that I'm going to be using to explain everything you need to know about starting a farm from scratch to the end. We want to calculate the stocking density of 5 feet by 5 feet by 4 feet pond. So what we are going to do is to convert this particular feet to meters, and how we achieve that is to divide 5 with 3.3. So any figure that is in feet and you wish to convert it to meters, you divide that particular figure by 3.3. Now remember, I told you that you are not going to fill your pond to the brim. You are going to stop at 3.5 feet gauge. So that is why we are having 3.5 feet instead of 4 feet. So remember, we are calculating the volume of the water level of the pond. So when we make our division, we want to divide 5 divided by 3.3 equals to, we are having a figure of 1.5 meters. So you have 1.5 meters multiplied by 1.5 multiplied by, so we want to convert 3.5 feet to meter divided by 3.3. we are having 1.06. When we approximate this particular figure, we have 1.1 meters. So we want to get the cubic meter of this particular pond size. What we do is we multiply 1.5 by 1.5 by 1.1. We are having 2.47 cubic meters. So when we approximate this to the closest decimal point, you have 2.5 cubic meters. So this is the volume of your pond, 2.5 cubic meters. Now when we want to get the stocking density, we multiply this by, already I told you that the semi-intensive needs a stocking density of 50 to 100 per cubic meter. So we are working out for semi-intensive system of fish farming, which is the system of fish farming that is widely practiced in Africa. So when we do our calculation, we multiply by 50, which is the stocking density for 1 cubic meter. And when we do 2.5 multiplied by 50, we are having a figure of 125 equals to 125 fish. So the number of fish that is optimum for grow out to table size fish for 5 feet by 5 feet by 4 feet height is 125. That is the stocking density, which is the number of fish that this pond should carry